This is exercise 3, pre-flight briefings. In this briefing, we're going to talk about how important the briefings are, the types of briefing that you will get, the content of the briefings, how we record the briefing for training purposes, and what you can do as a student. So, first of all, how important are the briefings? Well, I can tell you they're very important, because if you take off without knowing exactly what it is you're aiming to do, then you're not going to do as well as if you take off knowing exactly what the plan is. And then that in turn will save you both time and money. So clearly the pre-flight brief and the exercise brief should be completed before you take off. Okay, no good doing it in the air. And the briefings are a requirement for your license. So the training isn't completed until you've sat through the briefings. The types of briefings that you can have are either what we call the long brief, and so this will tend to go into some of the aerodynamics, perhaps of a flight exercise, and so on. And this is typically a classroom job. 20 to 30 minutes would be something I might expect to see. A short brief, on the other hand, is really just a summary of that long brief, and that's just a little reminder before you go of the key points that you need to remember. The flight briefing, which is slightly wider than the exercise brief, includes the exercise brief and covers one or two other topics, including who's doing what and so forth. Then the final type of briefing is lecture style, and that's probably for more for the exams and so on. And those briefings can be easily half an hour to 3/4 of an hour long each time. The content of the pre-flight briefing, therefore, one, the aim, what you're aiming to achieve during the flight, the air exercises that you're going to cover, the flight briefing, and that is who's responsible for what's your instructor expecting you to do, and what should you expect the instructor to do. And he will ask you questions, so he'll be checking that you actually understand what you're trying to do, and that's just time for you to point out if you don't fully grasp it. Go over it again, it doesn't take a moment. And then finally the airmanship part, which is threat and error management in a nutshell, and there you will consider the possibilities of the flight, the weather impacts probably, and also the impact and the strategy that you might apply to this particular flight while you're doing this exercise. Finally, recording the briefing is important, and that can be done in the training record card or in your logbook, or very often in both places. So the training record card has got a column marked demonstration, and when you've completed a briefing online, just go to that column for that subject and just initial it, and then the instructor will update that for you when you're back on the airfield. In the logbook, typically we might say that we've attempted an exercise, and the instructor might put one or two hints or tips or suggestions for other instructors on what you should be doing next. Your role as a student then is, if you don't understand the briefings, please speak up. It's no shame, and it's pointless taking off if you haven't fully grasped what it is the instructor is asking you to do. And make sure that the briefing is actually recorded. Your instructor is often very busy, and he can easily forget to do that. So be part of the team, make sure you get the record updated. Thank you, that's all for now.